job site, he can now create and enter orders, view prices, order details, and availability of products. In seconds, he can quickly check order history and review bids. Torco Touch simplifies reordering by allowing
matchup as we welcome the teams to the field, the New York Shockers and your New Haven United FC. Introducing this evening's starting lineups, the Shockers, who are the 3 seed in this season's tournament, entering with a record of 2 wins, 2 losses, and 6 draws. In goal, wearing 1, Tyler Brennan. In the field, number 2, Dylan Maxon. Number 3, Cameron LaValle. Number 7, Yusuf Okine. Number 8, Elias Elan. Number 9, Brandon DaCosta. The captain, number 10, Adele Chekic. Number 12, Thomas Sam. Number 14, Marcelo Michael. Number 17, Rude Apollon. And number 23, Seth Scarano. And now let's meet the starters for your New Haven United FC, who enter the postseason as the number 2 seed with a record of 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws. In goal, 0-0, Justin Hess. In the field, number 2, David Rosen. Number 4, Andre Casas. Number 6, in this evening's captain, Alexi Armas. Number 9, Santiago Serrano. Number 10, Ger Mira. Number 13, Samir Dishnika. Number 14, Solomon Adu. Number 20, Yusuf Mohammed. Number 23, Preston Alessio. And number 25, Agnaldo Germano. The head coach of New Haven United FC is Clarice Capillari. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you at this time, if you are able to, please rise and remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem. Thank you for your attendance and your support of NPSL soccer. We hope you enjoy this evening's match.
And a pleasant good evening, everybody. You're watching a presentation of the New Haven United FC YouTube page. It is the postseason, and for the first time in organizational history, in its inaugural season, New Haven United are in the NPSL playoffs, and in fact, by virtue of a dramatic come-from-behind 3-2 victory last Saturday against American Soccer Club New York, with Alex Brown scoring a 90-plus 3-minute winner, it means that New Haven United are into the postseason and hosting a playoff game as they welcome in the defending conference champions, that is the New York Shockers. And a pleasant good evening, everybody. JJ Duke here with you. Thanks for spending your Wednesday here with us. A warm evening, but not the worst that we've had over the past couple of weeks. But these players now know that it is win or your season is done atmosphere. And for these two clubs who have come into the postseason on certainly the form that they probably don't want to have, New Haven, of course, winning their last match, but that was their first victory in their previous 4. Meanwhile, for the Shockers, it's been very much team tie mentality with 6 draws in the 10 regular season matches, including their last 2, both at home against American Soccer Club New York and Hartford City. And we'll tell you more about both of these teams, how they've gone about their season. The Shockers, who have won this conference title twice in the last 4 years. This is their 5th season in NPSL play, are looking to defend that. Meanwhile, New Haven, a tasty possibility of setting up an all-nutmeg state final with Hartford City currently hosting Osners FC up in Farmington. We'll keep an eye on how that is playing out as we go throughout tonight's match. But we're just about ready to go. It's going to be New Haven in the home blue with the big block white numbers, and the Red Sox going from left to right on your screen, and the New York Shockers in their traditional yellow jerseys with the black bottoms. Interesting to note, the Shockers won the coin toss, and they're putting Justin Hess in a very interesting perspective here, as he's going to be looking dead into the sun for the entirety of the first half. As we're underway here, it's win or go home season in NPSL action. The starters for both of these teams and for both of these clubs as well, seeing a couple of players unavailable over the course of what they've had in the regular season, with some collegiate programs having their players go back to their colleges in the build-up to preseason, also just to get a little bit of a rest. A couple of changes, but we'll get to that in a moment, as now New Haven have a set piece here, and it'll be the vice captain, Alexi Armas, who has the armband tonight. Tyrone Malango, the usual captain, who came off injured in the previous home match against American Soccer Club. Yes, it was a home and home over the last couple of weeks, but he is on the bench this evening. It's going to be Armas who will stand over it, as well as Samir Deshnika, the left-footed option, wearing number 13. They're attacking the goal that's defended by Tyler Brennan, as New Haven will ask for 6 in the box. It's Armas to swing this into the back post, and it's comfortable for Brennan, and he'll just hold and allow everyone to get forward. So Justin Hessen, goal for New Haven. David Rosen wears 2. Andre Casas returns to the lineup. He wears 4. Armas, as you said, having the armband tonight, wears 6. Santiago Serrano wears 9. Guillermo Mira wears 10. Currently the leading goal scorer on the club with 3 goals on the season. But don't think too much into that, because actually New Haven have done an outstanding job over the course of this year of balancing the scoring. 20 goals in the regular season, but across 14 different players. Solomon Adu returns to the starting lineup. He wears 14. Yusuf Mohammed, you didn't see him the last time that New Haven was at home, because he made his season debut in the last match on the road. Another Southern Connecticut State product. He and Solomon Adu, a couple of Owls on the roster. Preston Alessio wears 23, and Agnaldo Germano, who scored the opener for New Haven in that 3-2 victory last Saturday down at Hofstra, wears 25. That is a hold in the back, but the referee will say play on, as Rosen will recover, and he goes back to Agnaldo Germano. The Shockers, a very veteran roster. Of the 30 players that they've played over the course of this NPSL season, 2/3 of those players have either graduated college currently just playing in their senior season or their grad season. So it's a very veteran roster, and a lot of the players, in fact, on the field tonight have been with this club since the inception back in 2021. Tyler Brennan, as we said, is in goal wearing 1. Dylan Maxon in the field wears 2. Cameron LaValle, one of those veterans, wears 3. As is Yusuf Okine. He's up front wearing 7. Elias Elin wears 8. Brandon DaCosta wears 9. Another player that's been since day one, and wearing the armband tonight is Adel Chekic. Thomas Sams wears 12. Marcelo Michael 14. Rude Apollon, one of the new players into the team for this season, wears 17. Seth Scarano, another veteran, wears 23. Brennan in goal, spent the grad season last year at Siena, previously at Division III Russell Sage. He split time mostly with Ryan Henning in goal last year. Both teams actually have worked a three-man unit in goal. As this season for the Shockers, they've split it pretty evenly with Henning, as well as Daniel Shannon and Tyler Brennan. Both Henning and Shannon each have a clean sheet this year, though Henning was the one at home against New Haven United back on June the 7th. That was a 1-0 victory, or Maxon scored in the 10th minute. That day, though, New Haven were playing a little bit short-staffed that night. Just only had 4 or 5 active field players to come off the bench. That ball goes underneath the foot of DaCosta, but the referee will bring this back for a foul on DaCosta, and it'll be a free kick for New Haven. Yeah, Maxon concluded his graduate season at University of New Hampshire. 17 games played with 2 assists and nearly 80 games played in his career. He's going to be one of the players that you have to watch out for wearing the number 2 jersey, as Hess will pump this one forward. Justin, the 6'3" redshirt freshman from Guilford, Connecticut, up at UConn. Good return to see Alex Henrich back in the squad tonight, as he is on the bench this evening for New Haven. But he played the majority of the games in the early portion of the season, started 7 of the 10. Constantine Young and Hess combined to play the other 3 that Henrich was not available for. As over the top looking for Yusuf Okine. That's a push in the back, and it'll be a free kick for the Shockers. The referee saying that Yusuf Mohammed going through, and it'll be now a set-piece opportunity. We spoke about right before kickoff the sun that is in the eyes of the New Haven goalie. Well, if it's a free kick that comes from this near left flank for the Shockers, they're very much in business. Anything on the opposite side of the field, albeit Hess will be looking in the sun, it's nowhere near as bad. As Germano knocks this down, but into the path of Marcelo Michael, who chips that over the top. It skips all the way through to Okine, but there is Hess. Yeah, good work there by the number 4, Andre Cassis, doing enough just to put Yusuf Okine off, and then Hess aggressive off your line, as you see. Just able to scoop that up, and it'll be a free kick now for New Haven. But with that really troublesome sun, we saw about a month ago, Dren De Bruyne, who's on the bench tonight for New Haven, scored a long free kick against Hartford City that was in a 2-1 victory, or excuse me, that was the 3-1 victory, I should say, at home back on June the 4th. It was from 35 yards out, but basically was shooting right into the sun, and the goalie on the night, Nate DiLaurado, had absolutely no chances. Serrano knocks it down to Schnika with the drive, but it's blocked well by Elias Elin. Comes back out to Mohammed. Yusuf to the end line, cuts it across. It was knocked. Oh, no, there was no touch. It'll be out for a goal kick. But this nice crowd here at Reese Stadium applauding the efforts of Yusuf Mohammed. So again, another player that's going to be playing his college ball locally, and that's something that Jason Price, the owner of this club, wanted to have right at the forefront, as well as head coach Cladis Capillari, in a lot of players either based in the New Haven area or players that play their college soccer in the New Haven area. A number of Yale players, number of University of New Haven players who now have just joined the Division I ranks, who, by the way, Tommy Matera and his team announced their schedule for their first ever season D1 this fall, and the likes of Syracuse and Maryland and Yale. That is a very challenging non-conference schedule, but he'll set them up nicely for NEC play, which is by no means a slouch of a conference. Usually some very good teams coming out of it, and the likes of Long Island University. And you also have Wagner in there as well, as that ball penned up in the corner. A tangle will be a free kick for the Shockers. St. Francis University, who had that unbelievable season a couple of years ago where they actually didn't lose a match over the course of the year, ended up getting knocked out in penalties in the NEC tournament. David Rosen in the starting lineup tonight, one of those New Haven players. Plenty of them have featured over the course of the season, as well as Guilherme Mira. This goes all the way back to Andre Casas, one of the Floridians on the roster, a former Inter Miami Academy player, and played his freshman season at Stetson. The A-Sun, that's a push in the back and a free kick. A little bit rash there from the New York defender, as Rosen wanted to take it quickly, but the referee will bring it back to the spot. Into the 9th minute. No score yet, but another good area for a set piece for the hosts. It'll be the Cheshire, Connecticut native, Dishnika, who waves everyone forward. Collegiately at Clemson, as Alexi Armas was standing over it, but just walks away.
Jesus.
6 in the areas. This is pinged to the back post, but nice take by Brennan. Well, for those that are unfamiliar with how the NPSL postseason works, that's brave from Brennan, trying to bowl it out of the back right into the counter press. That's short from Maxon. New Haven nearly coming away with it. It's clipped here to this near side, but eventually scrambled to Adel Cekic. He'll play up the line. Yeah, that was late. The referee does bring it back for a free kick. So this National League, there are 11 different conferences, 4 geographical regions. There are, in essence, if you want to win the national championship, 6 games that you have to win. Have to win a conference semifinal and a final, then a regional semifinal and a final, then a national semifinal and a final. The only geographical region is this is pumped forward. Hess, that's a nice take. And the referee is going to also whistle this back for a foul as Justin Hess doing ever so well. Take that from the peak. Brandon DaCosta whistled with a high foot. But yeah, the only geographical region where having to play 4 matches doesn't apply is actually the West region, where it's just the Golden Gate Conference. But that's the only conference that actually starts in mid-March and goes through last weekend. You have a 12-match schedule there, then a semifinal and a final, though that conference does hold the national champions. That is the Burrito Boys themselves, El Farolito, who every year seems like they make a run in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. That is actually the same stage that this New York Shockers team started with this past spring, as Hess safely just plays that into row X, and he'll be out for a throw.
Is that a good idea?
And the Shockers, by virtue of not only winning the North Atlantic Conference title in penalties against Hartford City, then short-staffed, they ended up going down to Westchester United, who won the Keystone West Conference. And for those unfamiliar, Westchester United, arguably one of the best amateur organizations in the country, having success both in the NPSL, USL League 2, and U.S. Adult Soccer. But they got a result there, and by doing that, that meant that the Shockers clinched their spot into the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And a credit to Afram Desai and his staff keeping the squad together and allowing that group that won that championship and got to the East Region final before losing to FC Motown.
Is that you?
They all came back and played in mid-March up at Trinity Health Stadium and lost to Hartford Athletic 3-0, but a great experience. There's now a set piece to come here for the visitors. And unfortunate for Hess, the sun has gone behind the clouds, so he'll be able to see everything. This is to the back post, headed back across, but over the bar and out for a goal kick.
Yikes.
That was Rude Apollon with the header that goes over the bar. Germano out of the back now with Armas, who's dropped into right back position temporarily as he pings this over the top looking for Rosen. Cut out well, though, by Apollon. He'll be out for a New Haven throw right in front of their bench. Rude, the Haitian native, a junior college All-American at Herkimer Community College. Actually, he was playing at defense here this evening, but what a scorer he was. 12 assists and 11 goals. The 34 points that he had was top 15 in the country. As the cross from Mira is cut down. Armas. Mira. Cultured ball, but too much into it, and it's taken by Brennan. Ball into the channel. That should be comfortable for Agnaldo, the former Hartford Athletic Academy and short-time first-team member. Ball stuck in by Mira, but it pops back out to Maxon, but he concedes possession to Armas. Oh, well stepped through by Agnaldo, and he switches play now to Andre Casas, who again returns to the lineup. Andre, now his third start of the season. And New Haven have played 38 different players over the course of this inaugural campaign. But only half of those players have played 5 or more matches in the regular season, dealing with a lot of injuries and some unavailability over the course of this season. That's a nice ping out wide, but it is cut out. The one common theme, though, in addition to the local flavor with this New Haven roster, is a lot of youth. And also that was by design from Coach Capillari. In fact, in last Saturday's match away at American Soccer Club New York, there were 9 different players under the age of 19, which is insane to think about, especially in this NPSL league where, in theory, you can have an entire team full of post-grad players. But they have held their own. They have shown some immaturity at times, but that's what you're going to get when you play, quote-unquote, senior men's football. A little bit different than age group or playing at collegiate. Some teams like to be more direct than you have with the academy levels where you just love to play out of the back. But this New Haven team has kind of figured it out over the course of the season. If there is one knock on them, it is the amount of goals that they have allowed. 19 of them, but with the 20 that they've scored, and with the number of players that have done damage over the course of the season, the 14 different players that have scored goals, you know that anybody can hurt you at a given moment. As Brennan nearly charged down there, but sends this to Del Chekic. Adu, that's a nice take from him. Trying to spray this out wide, but Adele able to win it. Marcelo Michael to the feet of Brandon DaCosta. Full switch was on, but DaCosta just keeping the ball moving. Brandon actually a SUNY Cortland commit. Is named to the SI.com's top 25 boys high school players of the country to watch out for as he led Ichabod Crane Central High School to 46 goals, which is the highest total of the season. Well, there's a chance there for an advantage to be played, but I think the referee's going to come back and give a yellow card here, and it is. Just can't quite see the player on the side of the field. I think that might be Cameron LaValle. Just like a confirmation of that at halftime. Mira goes short. Dashnika to the feet of Serrano. Oh, it's not a bad area, but it's headed away. Decent ball, but Elias Elin clearing his lines, looking for O'Kine. Good recovery, though, by Mohammed. Rosen. Armas tries to square it across, and it's cut out the last moment as Elias Elin able to intercept at the right moment. But New Haven, though, able to keep the pressure up high. And it will be a throw-in for the hosts. Serrano does ever so well to take it down. Rosen, pass intercepted. We'll do it again. These two teams met back here in New Haven over Memorial Day weekend, a 1-1 draw, where the Shockers got up to an early lead in the 12th minute. Goal came from Kyle McFarlane, the Glasgow, Scotland native, and gave up an own goal and allowed New Haven to tie it up before a number of red cards that came out in that match. Very physical, very chippy. Nice interception by Muhammad, trying to play it through. The flag has stayed down. Serrano just got it stuck a little bit there. Comes now to Guillermo Mira. Oh, a lovely chop. And once again, but if he only could have just pulled the trigger. He was going for the spectacular, nearly paid off. But Guillermo Mira, ever so elusive to try and defend. He nearly pulled out an absolute worldie. But unlucky for him at the last moment, that ball just got stuck underneath his feet. Well done to the little one there, retrieving the ball, but at the same time, inadvertently just threw it onto the field, so a little bit of an extra delay. Love to see the tactics already being brought out in the 19th minute. Now that throw did it ever go in? Oh, it did come in. Well, it's interesting because you're probably picking up the crowd, Mike. A lot of communication coming from our official. He's been probably doing more talking than most of the players down there. Again, you're going to get this type of atmosphere. It's that header on from Serrano. That's wise defending from Cameron LaValle, who was the man that picked up that yellow card in the 16th minute. Germano doing well to win it. Deshnika nearly just about brought that down. The referee waves away a shot of a handball and a chance now for Marcelo Michael. He's got options with him, maxing out wide, and said goes back. Thomas Sams, a former Leicester City Academy product, gets it out wide. Ball squared across. Marcelo Michael, it's a save from Hess. The first clear-cut chance of the evening going to the visitors, and Justin Hess coming up with a good save. Well, Hess had to be strong in that situation there. If he wasn't, a team in the Shockers that don't score a lot of goals this season, but they also don't concede a lot of goals this season. Give them the early lead. That could nearly be game over. In fact, the Shockers have only scored 10 this year. They've conceded 13. So a shot of a handball. The referee had to think about it for a second, but we play on. Alessio trying to skip by a defender, but good recovery. Rude Apollon. Marcelo Michael down the line. Good area looking for Maxon. Just has one in the box at the moment, trying to cut it across. Easy for Casas. But now the tide is starting to turn a little bit in favor of the visitors. Getting that chance from Marcelo Michael a few moments ago, and then another touch into the area. That's cut out well by Yusuf Mohammed. And shrugs off O'Kine's tackle. Go on then, Yusuf. Well done. Gets that out wide to Alessio. Ever so dangerous with the ball at his feet. Alessio across to Deshnika with the effort, but right at Brennan. And now the match starts to open up a little bit. Good stuff from both squads. Is a very cagey first 15 minutes or so. Now starting to see some clear-cut opportunities. And as a former goalkeeper myself, I can appreciate the fact just safety first right there. No need in that situation to try and do anything crazy if you're a keeper and play out of the back in a single elimination situation. The last thing that you ever want is to try and be cute. Hess in that situation said, nope, just play it into touch, reset and go again. Chance out for Marcelo Michael. Squares it across. Just split the two attackers there as DeCosta and O'Kine were in the area. That's a high foot. The referee saw that all day.
These were wrists. Yeah.
Another big ball over the top looking for Alessio, who's trying to get that inside track on Cameron LaValle, who again, LaValle picked up that yellow card. Oh, they actually said that went out for a goal kick. That's good defending by the veteran. Right back for the visitors. And I think the referee has now asked for the players to step off the field here because there is going to be a hydration break for the fact that, well, now with temperatures still in the 80s. With the temperature still in the 80s, they have to take for player care first, so everyone will step off here. And again, just as a reminder, this is a semifinal elimination matchup, so there has to be a winner tonight. If we are level after 90 minutes, we will have 2 periods of 15 minutes, and if 120 doesn't settle us, then we'll go to penalties. So what we'll do is we'll step aside very quickly. We'll be back when players come back on the field. You're watching the New Haven United FC YouTube page.
You don't see the coaches and coaching right in front of us.
Meet Al. Al is a service tech. Al likes to be prepared and get the job done right the first time because Al knows time is money. Al used to waste a lot of time calling supply houses, tracking down inventory, and gathering pricing and availability. Even after he got home, his day wasn't done. Al got stuck looking through his notes to order the next day's inventory, supplies, and preparing quotes. Then Al discovered the Torco Touch. Al no longer waits till he gets home. At the job site, he can now create and enter orders, view prices, order details, and availability of products. In seconds, he can quickly check order history and review bids.
All right, welcome back here. You get a little bit of a hydration break with, again, the temperatures over the course of the day in the upper 80s here in New Haven. Thankfully, the clouds have taken over and the sun not quite setting. It'll still be probably until midway through the second half, but players taking on fluids, and we're back ready to go. JJ Duke here with you. Thanks for spending your Wednesday here with us. Semi-final Wednesday, conference final set for Saturday. Number 2 seed New Haven versus number 3 New York Shockers. The winner would take on either the number 1 seed Hartford City FC or the number 4 seed Osners FC, who they were in a real precarious spot last week as they're the team on the bye. As Mira drives this across and is blocked behind out for a goal kick. Thomas Sams, well, that could have gone anywhere as that was absolutely rocketed towards him. But Sam's doing ever so well just to put that behind. But Osners were in that strange position, already completing their 10 regular season matches the previous weekend. And, yeah, they had to sit and hope that some result would go their way. And with New Haven knocking off American Soccer Club, that allowed Osners to get in with Mishneder Cherry at the forefront with 9 goals this season. He could be one that could be a difference as this is bent in. Brennan gets fist to it. Good hands from the Shockers keeper. But good recovery by Guillermo Mira, and it'll be out for a New Haven throw. Mira with the turn. And just cleared away by Apollon. Taken down by Alexi Armas. Rosen. Mira. He'll clip this looking for Alessio to a good area, but shielded well by Cameron LaValle. Again, is currently sitting on a yellow card. It's out for a goal kick. The Shockers this evening, a bit of a short bench for them. They have 4 field player subs and 1 goalie. You were allowed 7 field player subs and the 1 keeper. Or excuse me, I should say the 6 field player subs and 1 keeper. So the Shockers going basically just too short of what their usual mark are. But Sam Rogers, Jackson Leon, Daryl Jeffrey, and Marcelo Fazio on the bench, with Ryan Henning being the replacement goalie, is Alexi Armas inadvertently knocking that off his own man, and a misery compiler is Solomon Adu gets whistled for the foul. You know, Armas, he thought that he had the man over the top, but just need a little bit more loft. You know, I personally hit a 10.5 degree driver, but I think he probably needed an 11, maybe a 12. Zappalon asking for players to get forward. This is pinged in towards O'Kine. It goes behind him as well as Muhammad. Yusuf and Line takes it out. Goal kick. Well defended there by New Haven. Yeah, just good strength by Yusuf Mohammed. Again, both goalies have had tests here in this first half. Justin Hess strongly paring away an effort from Marcelo Michael, and then not all that long after, Samir Dishnika had a stinging effort from the top of the box, but it was held well by Tyler Brennan. Now Rosen, pass took a deflection, Serrano slipped. Really unlucky there for the Mercy University product. Santiago Serrano with a couple of goals on this season. Kind of playing that out-and-out target striker. That's a nasty fall for Adele. A couple of 10s going after it. Try and see at halftime if we could get some updates from not only the Hartford City matchup, but some of the other scores from elsewhere. The nice thing about how the NPSL does it, all conference semifinals are taking place tonight. So we can do some digging and see what is happening elsewhere, especially in this East region. This ball's out wide to Yusuf Mohammed. His cross is blocked down, but he'll get another go at it. Alessio short. O'Kine trying to take it off of him. That's really well done. Mohammed, he's got 3 in the area. Clips it towards Serrano, but it doesn't beat the first man. Ever so well from Yusuf Mohammed. Then Preston Alessio getting stuck in. Plays it first time. It's a good ball to Serrano. Santiago doesn't have much to work with. I'm just taken into the corner. And the Shockers not able to clear their lines completely. Now Solomon Adu. Really good spell of possession right now for New Haven. Can they have something come of it here? Armas. Brennan. Good yell, good catch. He's done up well tonight. Tyler Brennan commanding his box. Good communication. Playing safe when he has to. It has to be ever so nice for the Shockers coaching staff knowing that they've got 3 different options to go to, all with a level of experience. As I said, with Brennan, solid career at Russell Sage, and grad year at Siena. Ryan Henning is actually the current goalkeepers coach at Skidmore, a St. Rose grad. He's been with the club all 5 seasons. Then Daniel Shannon, who completed his senior season at UAlbany and had a sub-1-7 goals against with the Great Danes. So a lot of experience. Again, the theme with the Shockers, a lot of older players on the roster. As I said, with this New Haven team, their last match, they featured 9 players between the starters and the reserves under the age of 19. And of the 30 different players that have played for the Shockers in NPSL action this season, 2/3 of them have either completed their collegiate career or just about to complete it. It's a big gap. But, of course, the Shockers always having success in this league since they joined in 2021, twice winning the North Atlantic Conference. They know how to get it done at this time of the year. That's a late one there as Mohammed gets clipped. The referee might have a second look at that. He will play the advantage. David Rosen. Now Armas. Good switch from Armas, who's kind of that metronome in the midfield for New Haven, the Hofstra product. In and amongst it every match for the first year group this year. Really has become a fan favorite for just that tenacious work ethic. This ball right at the keeper. But yeah, Armas, who has featured in I think every match but one this year. No, in fact, he has played in every match. He has started in all but one. He's actually the only player on the roster to have appeared in now all 11 matches, including tonight's playoff game. Number of players have gotten to 9. Agnaldo Germano being one of those. Preston Alessio, Renford Morgan, who's off the bench tonight, have appeared in 9 of the 10. 10 now, if you include this evening's postseason contest. Well, and the referee is going to wave away that tackle, saying that Yusuf Okine went down too cheaply. Now, because of that foul late on Mohammed from a couple of minutes ago, because so much time probably came off of it that just waved away any further conversation from the Shocker defender that clipped him. A turnover now, and Seth Scarano goes forward. Brandon DaCosta, cross cut down, throw in for the Shockers. Because of the fact that we had the hydration break, we'll probably have a couple of minutes of stoppage. But still 10 to go.
I know it scored, I remember.
That ball blocked by Yusuf. It's going to be out for a throw right by the corner flag. Now a chance to power forward here for Yusuf Mohammed, who's certainly been the bright spot for New Haven in this first half. Serrano wants it over the top. Little bit under hit as Apollon takes it. Yeah, he's definitely been that player of the first half for the hosts. But now has to get back here as that is late, and that's going to be a yellow card on Andre Casas. Almost the one where he had to take that for the team after the giveaway. And that's something for New Haven to keep an eye on now, especially one of their center backs playing with the yellow. The referees issued a yellow card in the 36th minute to New Haven's number 4, Andre Casas. So it'll be a free kick now for the visitors in one of those areas where you can kind of just see if you can put it into the corridor of uncertainty, the area between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box. Forced Justin Hess to make a decision, though Hess has come a bit off of his line, almost outside of the 6-yard box.
A lot of yelling.
Plenty of players to aim for Delcekic, but doesn't get it past Mohammed. Now just be helped out for a Shockers throw. Thomas Sams. A bit of a slip, but Adu gets away with it. Alessio now with Dishnika. New Haven might try to hit on the break here, but again, you can see how compact the visitors are. They committed all the bodies forward, but they do the job defensively, and that's something that has always been a bright spot for the Shockers over the course of their time in NPSL. They do not give up a ton of goals. I mean, even the fact that this year, nice step through by Rosen as he can carry his run, and he keeps going. David Rosen squares it across, but the flag has come up. Santiago Serrano claiming that he held his run, but the assistant on this near side said that just a little early went the New Haven striker. Cekic, that was innovative, if nothing else. He ends up giving possession away as he gives the daggers look back to his goalkeeper, saying, "Why are you playing that so early?" But yeah, the defensive record for the visitors has been a good one. The Shockers this season giving up just the 13 goals. They don't score a ton of goals over the course of their time in the league, albeit for last year's. Deshnika gets it off to Alessio. Can he find the final pass? He runs into a wall. This will be a free kick in a very good area. Well, if you don't know, it'll probably hurt you a little bit less. But that time, Preston Alessio just running into a brick wall. As Yusuf Okayan, and now a free kick and a glorious opportunity. And you can see 4 different players are kind of surveying their spot and trying to stake a claim in this set piece. But Samir Deshnika and Alexei Armas are the ones that have waved everybody away. This all came from a careless giveaway out of the back by Tyler Brennan off of a offside call on New Haven, pinging it to his captain. And Adele only kind of just back hoofed it to him, saying, "What are you doing?" And then ultimately giving away possession, now a set piece. So Brennan is asking for 4 in the wall. This is perfect for a left foot, 22 yards away from goal. But also Armas with the right foot, he can just swing it around. There's another man that's being put into the wall, so 5, but there's no one behind. It's Adu with the drive. It gets blocked. Second chance, speared into the wall. Here comes Muhammad. Doesn't beat the first man. Adu once more. Well, New Haven tried something off the training ground, and it did not work out. Now they might be caught out here. As Armas, that's well in. And he actually earns the free kick for his team as Brandon Takasa can't believe it. Oh, and immediately the referee, and I can appreciate this from an official, he says, "I'm not going to card you, I'm just going to have a talk and tell you the reason why this is a foul." But what a job there by the captain, Alexei Armas, tracking back about a good 40 yards to win a free kick for his team.
So what's happening? What's he telling them? What is he telling them?
Why he didn't get the ball.
Well, I don't think Brandon's going to like the explanation either way, but he had a great view of where that was. And it's going to be a free kick either way. If he just keeps going, then he might talk himself into a yellow. That's the last thing that anybody would want here.
So wait, is that good or bad for?
But it is going to be a free kick for New Haven. One will have to say, though, for the next time that New Haven gets a set-piece opportunity from that short distance, put it on target. You may never get another one. I will say, though, it was well disguised, because I did not see Solomon Adu kind of running through the gap, if you will, and ripping it. This ball to Mira, and he just puts it wide. Oh, that was a chance for Guillermo, and he nearly tucked it into the near corner. Santiago Serrano doing ever so well as that target striker, just got the knockdown. And that's why you have to look for those they call it the second and third phase off set pieces. Because if the target man does his job, it's not necessarily always his job to take it down cleanly, but can he help it on to someone else?
See who's on the advisory board.
Serial entrepreneur.
As Ruud Apollon will go home. And this is a situation for the visitors that they've been all too familiar with over the course of the season. Again, with just the 10 goals scored, which is by far their lowest in a single season in NPSL play. Of course, when you lose out Filippo Bellew, who had 11 goals in 11 matches last season, won the conference MVP.
I thought he was leaving.
Team scored 25 goals in the regular season. 29 in all competitions, but when you lose a guy that nearly scored half of them, that's your big problem right there. Actually only returned just about 12 of those goals, and a lot of them are actually currently on the bench right now. That was from last year's team. But the defense has always been there, giving up about a goal and a quarter over the course of their 50 regular season matches in organizational history. And in a one-off type situation, giving yourself the best chance to win a game would be not giving up anything. Is it worse to go to penalties? This is swung out wide to LaValle, and now Elias Elan in the 43rd minute to Yusuf Okine, who's able to turn. It's good stuff here from the Shockers in the final few minutes of the first half. But Casas saw the ball and was able to get it away, at least for the moment. LaValle goes back home with Sams. The former Siena, well, I should actually say the current Siena player, but saw no action last season. Check each. That's a good area. Good call by Hess. Very good shout as now the New Haven players are asking for the officials something on Yusuf Okine going a little bit late there. And in fact, there is going to be a yellow card on the Shockers attacker.
What's wrong with him?
The referee has issued a yellow card in the 43rd minute to New York's number 7, Yusuf Okine. And it was late from the New York attacker.
Oh, I know who you mean. Lagos.
Now it's the second yellow that has been given out to a Shockers player. Again, with their very short bench. The last thing that they want to have is a lot of players on yellows. And in postseason play, it's not like in a international tournament where if you pick up X amount of yellow cards in the knockout rounds, what point do they get wiped out? You can keep picking up yellow cards, but if you do get sent off, you serve that suspension in the next match, if you do get there. So that ball did go out. As we now enter the 45th minute, again, have to imagine there'll be a couple of minutes of stoppage time, mostly due to the hydration break. This ball out wide, but the cross had well too much on it. And if it wasn't for that fence, that probably would have landed in the Yale Bowl. Our football season will be upon us not too long from now.
It's amazing when you look at all the games, how many fields have the lights.
I know.
It's just baseball.
Good work there by Serrano, able to hold it up. Now comes to Alessio and Samir Dashnika. Right, nearly on the stroke of halftime. Can New Haven carve out a chance here? Comes to David Rose, and he's got 2 in the box to aim for. That goes all the way through. Comes now to Yusuf Muhammad. Salaman Adu. Ball played across looking for Serrano. It's poked away. Mira digs it out, but it's over the bar. Well, it was a good sequence from New Haven United, but ultimately not able to get anything on goal. The referee has indicated there'll be a minimum of 3 minutes of first half stoppage time. And we are into those 3 minutes of stoppage time here again, mostly with the water break that we had. I mean, if you have to give an edge, it would probably be towards the hosts in terms of overall play. But both teams have carved out good chances over the first 45 minutes. Both keepers have come up with one save, at least of note. Probably New Haven spurning the best chance of the half with that free kick at the top of the box. And now this is going to be another card. And this is going to be on Brandon DeCosta. And he's not happy about it. Alexi Armas getting into it as well. But that is now the 3rd yellow card that has been issued to a New York player. We still have a whole half to go. The referee has issued a yellow card in first half stoppage time to New York's number 9, Brandon DaCosta. A little bit of a cause for concern right now for Agnaldo Germano. As I say that, he pops up to his feet. It looked like for a moment there he was actually in a little... Okay, yeah, I take the joke there, but it looked like for a moment the way that he did actually land, that was kind of one of those that was a bit nasty. But the athletic trainer...
Why?
Because she came on.
Sprinted onto the field, ultimately with a wry smile, and she turns right back off, saying, well, what did I make that sprint for? Well, now the Shockers are asking, why is Germano not coming off here? But the explanation is because it was a yellow, and Germano didn't need treated. It was just a miscommunication on having the AT come on, then we just play. Shot of a handball on Mira, but no whistle. This is clipped into a good area, looking for Alessio. How about that, though, from Cameron LaValle? That is class from the defender right there. Seeing that off. It should be now in about the 3rd minute of first half stoppage time. Shouldn't be all that much left in it. As Brennan will just knock this one forward here. The referee did take a look at his watch. Must be about another 30 seconds or so as this is helped on for Dishnika. Plays it over the top for Serrano. That's acrobatic stuff there from Cekic. And then a whistle comes. New Haven not happy from that decision. And the Shockers bench now up in arms saying, well, if you're going to start giving out yellows to one, surely there should be coming the other way. That's brave defensive work there from the Shockers captain. Adele, also another former Siena product in his own right. He's been with this organization all 5 years of their existence. He had to do the work there defensively, otherwise Santiago Serrano is in on goal. And we are now well past those 3 minutes, by the way, so we're really at now the discretion of the referee. And that, in fact, is going to do it for this first half. So we ended the first half scoreless. We exit it still scoreless in this North Atlantic Conference semifinal. It's New Haven 0, New York 0. We will step aside for the first half, and we'll rejoin you in commentary in 15 minutes as you're watching the New Haven United FC YouTube page.
Next Haven is a fellowship program and a building and space that helps accelerate, educate, and launch the careers of emerging artists.
Our role is to facilitate our fellows entering into the professional practice of art making and curating.
Education and access, those two tenets kind of flow through everything we do, whether it be on the artistic side or the community side of what Next Haven is.
We are not trying to escape the problems of the city. We are, in fact, running towards the problems, trying to see what art can do to help change those things.
Meet Al. Al is a service tech. Al likes to be prepared and get the job done right the first time because Al knows time is money. Al used to waste a lot of time calling supply houses, tracking down inventory, and gathering pricing and availability. Even after he got home, his day wasn't done. Al got stuck looking through his notes to order the next day's inventory, supplies, and preparing quotes. Then Al discovered the Torco Touch. Al no longer waits till he gets home. At the job site, he can now create and enter orders, view prices, order details, and availability of products. In seconds, he can quickly check order history and review bids. Torco Touch simplifies reordering by allowing Al to group common products into a one-click order system. Now, Al's day starts off great because Torco Touch not only saves him time and money, but also provides him with peace of mind that every one of his orders will be delivered on time, in full, and error-free. Al knows that the Torco Touch has his back. Get started with the Torco Touch today. Call 203-465-4275.
Next Haven is a fellowship program and a building and space that helps accelerate, educate, and launch the careers of emerging artists.
Our role is to facilitate our fellows entering into the professional practice of art making and curating.
Education and access, those two tenets kind of flow through everything we do, whether it be on the artistic side or the community side of what Next Haven is.
We are not trying to escape the problems of the city. We are, in fact, running towards the problems, trying to see what art can do to help change those things.
Meet Al. Al is a service tech. Al likes to be prepared and get the job done right the first time because Al knows time is money. Al used to waste a lot of time calling supply houses, tracking down inventory, and gathering pricing and availability. Even after he got home, his day wasn't done. Al got stuck looking through his notes to order the next day's inventory, supplies, and preparing quotes. Then Al discovered the Torco Touch. Al no longer waits till he gets home. At the job site, he can now create and enter orders, view prices, order details, and availability of products. In seconds, he can quickly check order history and review bids. Torco Touch simplifies reordering by allowing Al to group common products into a one-click order system. Now, Al's day starts off great because Torco Touch not only saves him time and money, but also provides him with peace of mind that every one of his orders will be delivered on time, in full, and error-free. Al knows that the Torco Touch has his back. Get started with the Torco Touch today. Call 203-465-4275.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Reese Stadium on the campus of Yale University. Just about ready to go to start the second half of this North Atlantic Conference semifinal matchup between the 2-seed New Haven United FC and the number 3-seed New York Shockers. JJ Duke with you. Very few chances to speak of over the course of that first 45 minutes. It was Marcelo Michael who came close around the half-hour mark. Around the 20-minute mark for the visitors, and shortly after, Samir Deshnika, long-range effort that was held by Tyler Brennan. Both keepers making the one save. New Haven kind of wasting a set-piece opportunity past the half-hour mark from the edge of the D as we're just about ready to go. It's going to be the Shockers who will get the ball to start the second half, going from left to right on your screen. And New Haven had a free kick 22 yards away, elected to go a set-piece off the training ground, and, well, didn't really come to anything. It was 2 shots right into the wall, never testing the keeper. But ready to go here again. There must be a winner tonight. If we do not have any goals after 90 minutes, we will play extra time and perhaps penalties. But for both of these teams, knowing that if you win today, you got to turn around and play on Saturday. We want to get the job done in 90 minutes. Just the one change for New Haven as Dren De Bruyne, a halftime substitute, coming in for Samir Deshnika. As Thomas Sams now on this near side. 3 yellow cards to speak of for the Shockers in that first half, with Cameron LaValle, Yusuf Okine, and Brandon DaCosta each picking up yellows. None of them coming off in the first half as Seth Scarano picks it up in a high area, goes with Dylan Maxson. And then the 1 yellow card for New Haven's Andre Cassis as Okine whistled for offside. Do have a couple of scores from elsewhere in the NPSL East region. Ironically enough, the one game that we have zero information about is the one that matters the most to us in the North Atlantic, is Hartford City FC do not have a live working stream right now, nor have they posted on their social media channels. So their match in the contest against Osners FC, we will continue to dig, and if we have any information, we'll let you know about it. There is one big surprise result. We go to the Mid-Atlantic Conference. The number 1 seed and the number 1 seed in the conference and the best points per game in the entire East region is Virginia Dream FC, and they're losing to Grove United, who had to battle their way in on the final day of the regular season. They're trailing 2-0. And that's a Virginia Dream FC team that won a match in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, knocking off the Richmond Kickers by 3-1. Then they lost to Loudoun United of the USL Championship. The other final, Ristosi FC knocking off the Alexandria Reds by 2-1. So if Virginia Dream doesn't make up a 2-goal deficit, it's going to be Ristosi who hosts the final. And that could blow the thing wide open in the region, because the other big surprise is FC Motown, who are the reigning East Region champions, are losing to Jackson Lions 1-0. That's a 2-seed versus 3-seed matchup in the Keystone East, so that's going to be a foul on Agnaldo Germano for New Haven. Free kick for the Shockers. New Jersey United AC leads PDA 2-0. And Westchester United against Electric City Shock is in a weather delay, and we'd have to imagine also the Philly Ukrainians PA Classics matches. That's literally down the road from where Westchester United play. I would imagine that's also in a weather delay as well, but we have no updates from there. So it could be a long night in the office for the Keystone West Conference, as Germano has to be smart here, and he actually doesn't need to worry about anything as Scarano knocks him down. So in a situation like this now, folks, where in this one-off situation, you have a lot of experienced players, albeit a fair few on yellow cards for the Shockers. Having this close match at this stage is going to be one that benefits them. Knowing that New Haven have been prone to giving up goals, they average just under giving up 2 goals per game. If they just stay patient and eventually create an opening, they'll finish it off. And a team that has only won a couple of games this season, but they're in kind of an odd situation that they've done really well picking up points from losing positions or tied positions. When they actually go ahead, they haven't really been successful this year. They've only scored first in 3 of their 10 regular season matches this season, and have earned 6 points, 1 win and 3 draws from losing positions. But then twice in the first 4 games of the season, they gave up points from being in front. Nice little step through by Sams. And now LaValle to the feet of Okine. So what I'm saying is you don't really know what you're going to get from the Shockers on a given night, but you know that they're never going to be giving in to any situation. They're just the team that knows, especially with the amount of players on the roster that are returning from last year's team and even some from that 2022 side that won the conference title, that they know how to get the job done. As Elias Elin lays that off, little back heel, and the Shockers take the lead. It's a brilliant finish from Elias Elin, a little somersault as well. And the Shockers, not even 5 minutes into the second half, take the 1-0 lead. Goal for New York Shockers in the 50th minute, scored by number 8, Elias Elin. And it's just a really nice little 1-2 inside the area, and that's what I'm speaking about. You get that chance, you take the chance, and now New Haven have to come from behind. Elias Elin, the Swedish native who completed his graduate season at UAlbany. He only has scored 1 goal in his career there, but actually came this past season. And also formerly of USC Upstate as well. Former all-rookie team selection in his conference, has given his team the lead on the road. Now, it's still 40 minutes to go in this match. There is absolutely zero reason for New Haven to kind of speed things up or try and do things out of their own element. And also, you don't have to force things, but there has to be a little bit more urgency right now. As Yusuf Muhammad busted a gut in front of us here down the line. He gets it from Guillermo Mira. Muhammad goes back with Mira, who's got 2 in the box to aim for. Not a bad area, but it's cleared away. Guillermo does ever so well to bring it down. O'Kine stepping in, nearly getting to Serrano. Pops back out to Adu. Serrano wants it early, but not the right texture on it, and it's cleared away. And now a chance here for the Shockers to break. And it comes to Marcelo Michael. Lovely now with Scarano. This is good stuff from the visitors. O'Kine. Again, this is only just the 4th time in 11 matches, well, 12 if you count their Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup match back in March, that they have played from in front. They also participate in UPSL in the Western New York Premier Division. They actually won that division with 7 wins, qualifying for the National Cup round of 32. Foot Ohio SC, I believe that's their opponent that they're going to be playing. So in one league they've had a bit of success, but again, end-all be-all team that's been in this position far too many times. They know how to see it over the line. From a New Haven perspective, that was just well too easy, though, to allow Elin and Scarano to walk right through the defense. Really, there's absolutely nothing that if you're Justin Hess you could do about it. The ball finds Alessio. And he's able to skip past a defender. Preston Alessio now trying to ladle that off to Serrano, but it's intercepted. I was about to say, we've actually seen Preston pick up a ball deep inside his own half and go the entire length of the field and score. That went against Hartford City at home in the final match of a 3-game season series. Good interception by Adu, but it now finds the feet of Dylan Maxon. Now O'Kine. Yusuf onto his left foot. Still Yusuf O'Kine. Long way to swing it to Scarano, who has stayed onside. Decent area. Casas clears. Finds the goal scorer in Elin. Fizzes that in. Good stuff now from the Shockers. Casas heading that one away to safety. You can see the onus now from the visitors. 1 is not enough. Try and get a second here. And put a team that doesn't have a lot of experience at this level in postseason play. I'm trying to put it to bed. Serrano. That's good recovery. Really well done by LaValle, who again has been playing on that yellow card for the last, well, near now 40 minutes of the match. I should actually say 35 minutes of the match, but he did well to retain possession. Rude Apollon. But New Haven come away with it, looking for Alexi Armaspas just ahead of him. And again, this is where you have to be patient if you're New Haven. Don't try and force things. Don't want to be chasing a lot of the ball over the course of the second half when you're chasing the game. Scarano once again. Seen to by Germano. That's a push in the back, and it'll be a free kick now for New Haven. And Seth Scarano had a big hand in the buildup of that goal. They do. Knocked over the Mira tried the back heel, really wasn't needed, and that's clumsy there from Salamanadu, and he's going to go into the book. Referee has issued a yellow card in the 56th minute to New Haven's number 14, Salamanadu. So Adu now joins Andre Casas in the referee's book. And again, this goes back to the whole concept of not trying to do anything too crazy at this stage, because picking up unnecessary fouls and unnecessary yellow cards. So the last thing that you want is to do something like that and then say, you know, another one down the road, and then all of a sudden you're chasing a match, and with 10, that's a handball. Unlucky for Muhammad. Absolutely no intent with that, as the arm was a bit in an unnatural position, but played it off the hand. So the referee now says free kick for the Shockers in a much better area. And again, because the Shockers know, while New Haven give up their fair share of goals, they also score 2 per game in the regular season, with 20 scored in 10 regular season matches. But yeah, best to get a second, because that's how you can really kill the will of a young opponent. As Adel Cekic now is going to ask for 5 in the area. There's one kind of just trailing off. Actually make that 2 trailing off. See Agnaldo Germano with the hand up, trying to hold the line. The header, I think that actually came off of a New Haven player, but Alessio just smartly plays it to safety, asking a lot from Serrano. And it goes back home to Tyler Brennan. Now, interesting about Tyler Brennan from last season, because he was the one that was actually sent off in the North Atlantic Conference Championship match against Hartford City at home in that 1-1 contest. As Ryan Henning that came in to see out the remaining minutes and extra time and penalties. Very solid keeper in his own right. So as I say, that nearly played himself into trouble. Good closeout from Guillermo Mira. And New Haven able to win it back. Muhammad has Dren De Bruyne behind him. De Bruyne now, lovely move to bypass LaValle. De Bruyne across, and it's headed away. Good stuff, though, from Dren De Bruyne. Really hasn't been involved since coming on at halftime. Rosen cuts it back to Alessio. Chips it into the area. Serrano takes it down. It comes now to Mira. His effort blocked. It finds Serrano. It's toe poked away. Seth Scarano, head on a swivel there, able to knock it wide. New Haven pressing forward, looking for the equalizer. Alessio not able to get to that scooped ball. And a change is going to be coming, as it's going to be Mohamed Kane now who will enter the fray. attack-minded substitution for New Haven on the hour mark. Substitution for New Haven United. Entering the match, number 17, Muhammad Kane. He replaces number 9, Santiago Serrano. So Kane now entering the fray with a half hour left to go in this one. Mo, a very solid season in his first year with the club. Still looking for his first goal, but has been in and amongst it with a handful of assists over this year. That was very much an out-and-out attack substitution from Clides Capillari. Mohamed now selling that pass short to Alessia. And now a chance for the visitors to break with Scarano. Yeah, New Haven still have a handful of attacking options off the bench. Renford Morgan also there, and if you're looking for someone that you can ping balls over the top to, Renford, an AIC product in Division II, 6'7", so you can just lump it up to him and he'll do his best to knock it down. You also have Alex Brown, Jason Price, and Tyrone Malango, other options off the bench. Brave step through from Sams, but he brings it off well. O'Kine. Sams getting forward, back to Yusuf O'Kine. Just got DeCosta.
Quick corner. Hey, let's go. That around for a corner. I don't like it.
Yellow, don't grab here.
Yo, use the break. Hey, back post, big man.
Watch it. Julie, someone. Yellow, you know they need one. That's two.
Oh, Trey, top. Away. Yes. Stay off. Away. Hey, left side.
Lefty. Yeah. Yo. Still no.
Yes, come on. Yes,
Go through it, boy.
Back post.
One down, Yui. Now.
From Nisai and his staff are actually going with an attacking-minded option here. Still with half of the second half to go. As he takes out DaCosta, who, in terms of the context of the substitution, it makes sense because you have a man on a yellow card, but maybe go add one into the midfield. But Jeffrey is going to play that apex. And actually, no, it does look like Scarano is now dropped in. It's going to be a 4-5-1 or some form of it for the Shockers. Oh, and Mira loses his man. Guillermo Mira. Do it on your own, son. Mira. Oh, that's clumsy. No, the referee said it was cleanly won from Rudat Palan. And now a chance for the visitors to break. Marcelo Michael. And the flag comes up. Oh, boy, I can't wait to see that one back. Because Guillermo Mira has stayed down behind the play. And you'll be the judge of that one. Bit of the ball, but a lot of the man. But now Preston Alessio. Mira onto his... Oh, I thought he was going to ping it onto his right foot. Gets it out wide. Ball swung to the back post for De Bruyne! And we're tied! Dren De Bruyne off the bench. He gives New Haven a lifeline here in the second half.
New Haven United FC goal in the 68th minute, scored by number 3, Dren De Bruyne.
Well, he certainly farmed all that aura in that bulleted header. I mean, that celebration's been going on for a few days. It seems like anybody that scores, they're doing it, but what a finish from the youngster. And that actually works out perfectly, as that's going to bring us to a hydration break here. I mean, it's almost perfect if you're New Haven and Claudice Capillari, because you can just say, hey, now let's settle and reset, and we go again. And what a ball it was from the right flank as well. Put it right onto the head of De Bruyne as no one was attacking it at the back post. And Dren now ties Guillermo Mira for the team lead in goals with 3. Well, you guys are seeing the replays of it. It's just an absolutely brilliant finish. So here we go. It's a brand new bowl game with 21 minutes to play and a little bit of extra time as well on top of that. And it looks like Tyrone Malango is getting ready to come on. In fact, he has entered the fray. Didn't quite see who came off for him, but add a little experience in the back line. New Haven United FC substitution in the 70th minute, entering the match, number 21, Tyrone Malango. And substitution for New York Shockers, number 11, entering the match, Jackson Leone. Well, that's the worst for a commentator and public address announcer when you're trying to look through a few things during a hydration break, and then also changes come on and don't quite see who comes on, who comes off, but we'll try and figure out who entered and exited the match. But Malango now entering the 70th minute, trying to give a little bit of stability into the back, and Jackson Leone, the top returning scorer from a season ago with 4 goals. There's now a chance here for New Haven. Ball down the line, looking for Alex Brown. Cuts it across to Alessio. It's cleared out the last moment by Elias Heelan. Yeah, Leone, another veteran player, as a slip over the ball from Marcelo Michael. Going to be asked now to try and get something back here as Alexi Armas swings it to Malango, his first touch. And he picked up an injury in the regular season home finale for New Haven against American Soccer Club. He missed the last match. My understanding, he actually wasn't even in the area, but hopped on a plane, got back here because it meant so much to him to be a part of this postseason run for New Haven. He's got himself good to go as Jeremy Mira now drives forward. Mohamed Kane wants a short. Mira onto the left foot, but drags his effort right at Brennan, and Mohamed Kane is not happy. He was open, the ball never got there. Alessio. Going to try to slalom past a couple of defenders. Ends up taking it out. Again, sorry folks, I'm still trying to very much figure out who the substitution was for, with Malango coming onto the field. That's David Rosen. Okay, so that Rosen comes off, which again would be very much a like-for-like substitution, as that ball just punted right into the Shockers' dugout. Alessio. Oh, he gets pushed down. This is going to be a free kick. Well, absolutely not needed to be given from Ruud Apollon, who's having a go at Thomas Sams. Boy, and I'll tell you this much, the Shockers are having, a number of players are having goes at each other right now. Very much out of sorts for a team that is so experienced, and with only 2 field players on the bench available. You need to kind of restore some order here. As Dren De Bruyne now, I spoke about that goal that he scored against Hartford City last month. It was right around from this distance, albeit the sun was in the eyes of the Hartford City goalie on that night. But now, a man who's confident to score from this far out and who's already scored on the night, why not have a go? Brennan asks for 3 in the wall. De Bruyne. Well, in American football, that'd be for 3 points. But here, it's just a goal kick. Don't mind the effort. Brennan will launch this one long, looking for Scarano. That'll be a foul on Solomon Adu. have to say this for Solomon. That was a tremendous leap. I think the referee might have deemed that he was using the back of Scarano as a little bit of a boost. Daryl Jeffrey. Oh, that was nearly given away as Kane was in the area searching for it. But Sams clips it out wide. Ball cut across, looking for Jeffrey, goes by him, and Alessio just clears it. Ooh, that was a chance there. Now LaValle, little ball roll, loses Alessio. Nice return back from Marcelo Michael, but New Haven do enough. Will be scrambled back to Sams. It's not a bad area, but has a great take. Tell you what, for Justin Hess, the first time we saw him play here, very nervous in between the posts, but a couple of matches under his belt. Much more calming presence back there, commanding his area well. There's De Bruyne down the line, but off of him out. Good communication, good positive communication coming from Agnaldo Germano in the back. Wanting his team the first and the seconds and then drive forward. As Armas inadvertently took it off of his knee. Brown able to cushion it down. Alexi. Andre Casas. Now Germano. And the winner of this match will play for the conference title on Saturday, scheduled against either Hartford City FC, the number 1 seed, or Osners FC, the number 4 seed. Do not have any updates from that match. Not at their them being Hartford City's usual home of Trinity Health Stadium. They're playing at their practice ground in Farmington, Connecticut. So there's no live stream available for that match, to our understanding, having some folks in and around the area message saying, we've got nothing. Dylan Maxson back now with LaValle. Shockers, again, the defending champions in this conference. That's pinged right off Adu. He knew absolutely nothing about it. Looks like he's okay, as Armas will go back now with Casas and to Malengo. Oh, nice turn by Mira. And he's got options with him. Guilherme now going to attack. He skips by a defender. Mira once more. You bet! Oh, that is brilliant there from Guilherme. And Mira and New Haven are in front. New Haven United FC goal!
His 4th of the season. Scored by number 10, Guilherme Mira.
Well, if you are Tommy Matera, the head coach of New Haven, University of New Haven, you're delighted having this man come to your campus in a couple of weeks' time. He is in sensational scoring form right now. Couple of goals for him in his last few matches at home. He's going to take the yellow card for taking the shirt off, but he says, fine, well worth it. And now, with just only a few minutes left to go, New Haven have turned it around here. Down 1-0. It's now 2-1. Substitutions now as Renford Morgan comes into the match here in the 79th as he replaces Solomon Adu, sitting on a yellow. And it also looks like Samuel Rogers is also getting ready to come on. If the referee is going to allow the substitution to happen, he will not. But now it's the Shockers that have to go. New Haven United FC substitution in the 79th minute, entering the match, number 7, Renford Morgan, He replaces number 14, Solomon Adu. Also, after the goal was scored, a yellow card has been issued to New Haven United's number 10, Guillermo Miro. Now it looks like Rogers is going to be making that change. This is basically going to be kind of last chance saloon here, as there's only Marcelo Fazio on the bench for the Shockers. Substitution for New York Shockers in the 80th minute, entering the match, number 5, Samuel Rogers. So Rogers in with 10 minutes to go. Couldn't quite see. There's a player kind of ducked underneath. For those unfamiliar at Reese Stadium, there's a little bit of an overhang over the benches, so you can't quite see players that walk in quickly underneath. I think it was Cam LaValle who came off. So I'll just go with that it's him. But now things are stretched here. Mira, well, he gets clipped, but the referee, now calls it back for a foul. Interesting there. Had a long conversation with his assistant. You can see the remonstrations from the Shockers defender saying that, yes, well, he did slide in for the ball, but he didn't make contact with the attacker. But the referee saying otherwise. And now this is where, if you are New Haven, this is where you have to kind of almost mentally reset and say, okay, we have the lead, that's all fine, well, and good, but we're just not now sitting on things. This would be probably the message coming from the coaching staff saying, don't just sit on it with 10 minutes to go. Continue to play as such. Because if you start to sit on things, you open up opportunities for the Shockers. It's almost inevitable. There's Alexi Armas, not a bad area, a good header away by Sams. It's funny because almost, if anything, the way that New Haven have gone about their season this year, they're almost better off getting their third goal than trying to sit on a one-goal lead. With their regular season mark of scoring 20, conceding 19. And Marcelo Fazio is sprinting over the scorer's area. A shot of a handball on Armas. Good tackle by Morgan. And it actually works out to New Haven's advantage as Mira takes it away. This is pinged over the top, looking for De Bruyne. Dren, is he able to keep it on? He is. He's got 2 in the box. Towards the penalty spot, headed away. But again, playing with the lead. The hosts are on the front foot here. Trying to see this one through. Trying to pick up their first victory in NPSL postseason action. This facility, of course, very familiar for NPSL postseason action. The Elm City Express winning all 5 of their playoff matches en route to the 2017 title here at Reese Stadium, including off knocking a tired and weary Midland Odessa side 5-0 in the final in front of over 3,000 people here.
Come on, come on.
It'd be funny if New Haven finished the job here. It'd be New Haven teams winning 6 from 6 at Reese Stadium. Of course, the home to Yale men's and women's soccer, men's and women's lacrosse. Is Alessio now onto the right foot. Goes back to Alexi Armas, who's earned himself an opportunity to hit it. Dragged it, but right at Tyler Brennan. It's funny because for me, the combination of either Yusuf Muhammad or Alexi Armas would actually probably be my men of the match, just because they're not going to get the goals, but they have put in an absolute shift here on this Wednesday evening, trying to drag their team back from a goal down, still knowing that they've got a bit of work to do, as that's a wayward cross out for a goal kick. And now here comes that last sub as Marcelo Fazio will enter the fray. This is the final field player sub for New York. New York Shocker substitution in the 84th minute, entering the match, number 16, Marcelo Fazio. He replaces number 23, Seth Scarano. So Fazio entering the contest formerly from St. Rose, prior to that school shutting down after the 2023-24 academics year. Rogers, did he take it out? He did. He ended up taking that over the touchline and out for a throw. Then we have no updates coming from the other North Atlantic Conference semifinal. So could not tell you how things currently stand elsewhere, and if, say, perhaps Osners knocks off Hartford City, if New Haven would be in line to potentially host the final. Just for folks watching at home, just make sure to stay with either the New Haven United FC or New York Shockers social channels, as we'll bring you updates as soon as they're available. Again, we know that the final will be on Saturday. And the Shockers, who are the defending champions of the conference, trying to level things here, but they only have 5 minutes plus stoppage time to work with. Not a bad area, headed straight down by Armas. Side-footed volley gotten all wrong by Rogers, out for a goal kick. New Haven still have Jason Price available off the bench, as well as their reserve goalkeeper. Imagine there'll probably be a couple of minutes of second half stoppage time, but probably not all that much. Hydration break, yes, subs, but a couple of subs happen during the hydration break, so you don't add on time there, as Rogers trying to get himself in line, but he ended up taking that out as he and Malengo end up crashing into the net. This is where, if you're Justin Hess, you just have to be diligent right now, not try to, obviously he wants to whittle down the clock but not take too much out of it. So referee will certainly be waiting in terms of maybe saying you got to get on with it. Guillermo Mira right now, he's currently got the winner on his left, or on his foot, scoring it with about 13 minutes to go. Dren de Bruyne leveled things in the 67th minute. Morgan, we got that actually to come off well. It's going to be out for a throw. As more time continues to come off the clock here. Down the line, looking for Kane. Knocked off of him by Apollon, out for a Shockers throw, but now they've really got to be direct. No point standing around unceremoniously here as that ball from Rude Apollon launched forward. Leon has to go home. Tyler Brennan. New Haven perfectly happy to allow the Shockers to play 1 and 2 touch inside their own area, as now Brennan goes forward. It's a bit of a push from Casas, and the referee does bring this back for a foul. As Andre Casas did say that, or the referee's eye is saying that he did use the Shockers forward as a bit of a launching pad. Tyler Brennan did have a little bit of a look over at his own bench, but told to hold, but Adel Cekic now will place it down. There's only 5 in the area, but 4 other Shockers are kind of lingering at the edge of the box, or shortly there beyond that, just waiting for those seconds. Adel, the man who's been with this organization pretty much from day one in their NPSL days, can he come up with a big moment here? Good win by Mira. Elias Elan now. Not a bad area to the back post. That will go out for a goal kick. And New Haven will celebrate that like they just scored a goal. At this point in the match, you'll take any big defensive stands. The fans are starting to feel it as well. They know what's at stake. One team will advance to the conference final. The other will see their season come to an end. Been brilliant with the support here for New Haven United in their first season. Again, they were only announced as the new expansion franchise in the NPSL at the end of February, to then basically turn around a team better part of 9 weeks or so, and then play the first week of May. But the support that they've had here has been good all season long, even with some nights with some rather, well, not so summer-like conditions. The fans have come out here tonight as Brendan will place it down. We're just waiting on the number from the referee to say how much stoppage time there is. As Dren de Bruna now to Alessio, as we are in second half stoppage time. Well, that's late, actually, on Alessio, but we play on, but that just lumped over the top needlessly. Now de Bruna's slow behind the play. As Hess is just going to ask for everybody to get forward here. Good punt. Sams knocks it down, and, well, if you're a fan of rugby union, that's a perfect area for a line out deep inside their own 22. Now there's a yellow card that's been given on Dren de Bruna, I believe. It's stoppage time. The referee has issued a yellow card in second half stoppage time to New Haven's number 3, Dren de Bruna. Well, we can hear the referee saying that we've got time for you, but we still haven't even seen an indication from anybody on the field to how much time that we have. We're definitely in the second minute of stoppage time, and that's going to be a push on the Shockers. And again, if you're New Haven, you're happy seeing any fouls, just lump it forward. And that'll do. As Sams just puts that into touch. So we're now in the third minute of stoppage time. It's Tyrone Malango, the former New Haven Charger and also assistant coach, knows exactly how to see a game out. Again, just into the corners. Can't imagine there is going to be much time left if the Shockers do get it back. Defending it inside, well, basically right at their own corners. This ball knocked out, it'll be another New Haven throw. This is exactly how you want to see a game off. De Bruna once again. He's done ever so well, Dren. Does give away possession, but now New Haven, well, I would say New Haven have to drop back, but Mira nearly won it back. Now here come the Shockers. It has to be last chance saloon here. Marcelo Fazio trying to get around Alex Brown. Oh, the referee's going to bring this back, though, for a foul. That's going to be a yellow card on New Haven. Is that going to be on Alex Brown? I think it is. But it's going to be a free kick now for the Shockers. And, yeah, this is where I'm a little surprised that Brennan's not going up here. I mean, it might as well at this point. Every other Shockers player is in and around the area. The shouts from the New Haven bench is just clear your lines, and we'll play on Saturday. Well, now Brennan says, go on then. Well, anyways, Brennan now is just going to be told to get into the box. So Delchekic will wait for him, even though the whistle is gone. It's got to be now if you're the Shockers. That's headed away. Keeper is off of his line, and DeBruna will just clear it away. That's perfectly fine if you're New Haven. Some would say kick towards goal, but really, you're just trying to clear your lines. You get your team forward here as the referee's taking another look at the watch. We're into the 5th minute now of stoppage time. Brennan now is giving himself as a wide option here. Malengo slices in. That will do it! New Haven United come from behind, and they advance to the North Atlantic Conference Championship game.
Your final score, New Haven United FC 2, New York Shockers 1. Your New Haven United will be advancing for the first time in club history to the North Atlantic Conference Championship game.
But what a night it has been for New Haven United, coming from behind after giving up a goal in the 50th minute from Elias Elin. Goals coming from the youngster, Ben DeBruna, in the 67th minute, and then minutes after, Yerme Mira with the come from behind victory, knocking off the defending champions. And now they move on, and the question is, who will they face? We'll know in short course. It's either going to be Hartford City or Osners. If it is Hartford City, the match will be up in the state capitol. If it is Osners, then New Haven will host. Fans of New Haven United FC, make sure to stay with New Haven United social channels, as we will update you as soon as we find out where that match will be. But that's going to do it for us, for our entire crew. I'm JJ Duke saying so long. For the first time in club history, New Haven United participate in an NPSL playoff match, and they win, knocking off the defending conference champions New York Shockers by 2-1.